All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, happy to be speaking with an individual who's got a big fight coming up, and that is going on November the 9th. It is a middleweight tilt. Obinwa Ikebunna taking on Lee Hagel. It goes at Teofista, fight for the troops, and I actually have Lee on the program today. How's your day going so far there, man?
Not too bad. Just chilling at work here. On break right now. Yeah, that's about it. Gonna go to do some training after work.
Nice. Who are the regular people that you get in that work with? Like, who are the regular, sparring partners, but also some of the coaches that put in the work too?
I've been trained under Graham Wink for a long time now, about 10 years. And yeah, he's really knowledgeable in all of his techniques and all of his work, and he's really smart at teaching his students with what they're best at. Like he takes their strengths, And then my training partners, I got lots of big guys to work with right now. Lots of big, strong guys lifting weights. Kale, Manima, Chris Smith. I got Andrew Hansen. He's another fighter as well. Daryl St. Rose. A whole bunch of people that are helping me down in the lines.
Yeah, it seems like there's a great kinship with everybody at Team Alliance, and it seemed like they were very much part of that celebration when you made that XFFC debut there in Grand Prairie. So how important is it when you're stepping in those kind of fights to have like such a great team around you? And it seems like they have like a like-minded goal in the sense of like wanting the best possible outcome for you.
Yeah, we're all there to help each other, right? So we all get pretty excited, and yeah, we've all put in the hard work and the time and the sweat with each other. So we just you build that bond over the years for sure.
And what was it like to, get to debut in excessive force and everything like that? Because it seemed like things went pretty well for you. I was noticing that you got that submission of the night distinction as per Top MMA News when they were there. And yeah, I mean, really seemed like an outcome that couldn't have gone better. You rolled over, your opponent was sleeping and, just shy of 30 seconds into the opening round. So what was that night like for you?
Honestly, that was how the whole fight was planned out. We just didn't expect it to go in 29 seconds, obviously, but we predicted the guillotine. We came in. We just wanted to throw some crisp shots. We knew he was gonna shoot in for a takedown, and that was gonna be my time to capitalize on the submission.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was checking out some of your earlier bouts there, and I got to wonder from this because I was noticing the Drayton Angus fight you had there. I'm curious if there was any, like, mental hurdles that you had to overcome after mounting a comeback in the fight just because of the sort of volatile nature of the whole thing. I mean, you rebounded in style after the fact, obviously, but were there any mental hurdles you had to overcome prior to that?
For sure, there was lots. Also, I just wanted to take the time to get better, because I took a year off after that. You gotta let your brain heal. You gotta clear your mind as well of all the emotions and shit, because you don't want to go in there fighting emotional again right away. So I kind of cleared my mind, just got better with techniques, and yeah, jumped in there, and whenever I felt ready, and it felt great. It felt like the perfect timing.
Yeah, and never been to a second round in your pro MMA career, I'm noticing. Is there any kind of pressure that goes along with that at all? Like a sense of like wanting to end it in the first round? Or do you always come in with the mindset of each fight is a new thing, anything could realistically take place here?
Yeah, not at all. It doesn't matter to me. I'm hoping for a decision, honestly. I just want I want some experience, I want some cage time in there.
Yeah, and that's something that I think gets missed with a lot of people who've got those like, first round KOs and stuff like that, in the sense of like people, analyzing their game and stuff like that. Like I think they're like, oh yeah, well you're getting all these, first round stoppages and stuff like that. But probably for your, growth as a martial artist, it would be beneficial to go through the entirety of the fight.
Exactly. I can't wait for that back and forth fight, kind of a big test of what you're made of.
Yeah, and speaking of big tests and everything like that, I mean, this fight you got coming up here, I'm curious, like, what your preparations are for certain fights. Like, do you kind of get your team to check out whatever footage of your opponent might be available, or is it something you kind of indulge yourself into? Like, do you kind of get going with, like, the tape study, or is it more so you kind of focus on refining your own individual skills?
I always kind of check it out a few times, but I don't like to obsess over the video. It's I watch it a couple times. My coach will watch it, and then from there on, we just work on what we need to work on our side. Because even from what we've seen, there's still not a whole lot that we know about this guy. We know he's big and strong, and he looks athletic. So, of course, he's going to be dangerous. We just gotta watch ourselves and go out there and take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and I noticed you had something up about it, this being kind of like a short notice fight against a strong athletic fighter. Like you posted that a bit earlier in the month there. Is it one of those things though where you're always kind of like training and preparing, so it's not like short notice on like the preparatory end of things? Like, is it that kind of a deal?
Exactly. I was looking to get a fight for a little while now. I had that XFC debut last year. It went really well, and then I kind of wanted to keep the ball rolling, but then I bumped into some injuries and some things that kept me out of there. So I think right now is I was in shape for a while. So then this popped up, and I just decided, fuck it, let's take it. It's a month away. We're in shape. We're ready, and this feels like great timing again.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed that they have that amateur Muay Thai experience like listed on your opponent's record, but also seems like you've got a bit of Muay Thai experience from what I was seeing on your Instagram there. But also you were doing quite well in the Sask submission series there a few years ago. How important is it to have these like outside competitions where it's like you're focusing on like individual disciplines? Like how does competition in that regard inform your overall MMA game?
Well, it's a good little way to learn of where you're at and what you need to work on for sure. Especially like the tournaments, I find, jump in a tournament every couple months. I feel like is really good for you, just to keep you sharp and see what other techniques are even out there amongst other gyms.
Yeah, absolutely. And mentioning this was your first fight of 2019 and everything like that, and it seems like everything's all good on the injury end of things. Do you have an ideal sort of schedule you would want to keep in 2020, like an ideal amount of fights you'd like to get?
Yeah, I was talking about that quite a bit lately. I think this winter, I'm hoping to have, like, after this, maybe 2 more fights this winter, and then kind of take a seat back and see what kind of offers pop up from there.
Oh, so you'd be looking to even get like another couple fights under your belt before the year's out?
For sure. I'm looking to keep busy after this.
Are there certain cards you're kind of looking at, like anything in particular, or just this general idea of I'd like to compete a couple more times? Because, I mean, there's certainly opportunities. I'm just curious.
Yeah, nothing in particular. There's some that catch my eye for sure. But, just more than anything, looking to be active.
Yeah, I definitely get that, man. But this is kind of an interesting sort of opportunity because from what I'm seeing with a lot of the fighter posts relating to this event, it seems like Brandon, Manitoba doesn't get as much in terms of like, the live combat sports experience and stuff like that and making some history and all that. So how does it feel to be getting ready to perform to what's, presumably going to be a really raucous, sort of loud crowd?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm just focusing on the technique right now. Like, I'm not even thinking about my opponent. I'll deal with my opponent once I see him at weigh-ins. But right now, all I can do is just focus on going to the gym every day. I don't think the crowd will get to me. I think the more people, the better, to be honest. It's more awkward fighting in front of less people. So.
Yeah, no, I meant through like an excitement kind of lens more so. Like maybe it'll be cool to be in an environment where people don't get to see a lot of combat sports shows and then they're getting fired up for your fight. I didn't mean it from like a pressure angle, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'd be fun to bring them, just bring some good fights out there. They don't get that. They can sit back and enjoy the fights.
Absolutely, man. And you talk about focusing on the technique and getting in the preparation at the gym. I'm kind of curious, is there like certain go-to like genres or musical artists you like to train to or anything like that? Or are you more one of those fighters who the music doesn't really matter and you kind of more so like to replicate the conditions of fight night where that's not a factor?
Yeah, exactly. Whenever I'm training, I like to focus everything like as if I'm in a fighting state of mind, and I'm on the night of the fight. And then when I go to bed, I'm in the night of the fight, and I'm thinking. I just think about everything I can do in the fight physically.
Best way to get prepared for sure, man. But you've been great with your time. Is there anything you'd like to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, though?
That's about everything I have, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. This is going to be a great card. It goes November 9th, and people can check that bad boy out. We got a middleweight tilt coming up for Teofista fight for the troops. Obinwa Ikebunna going to be taking on Lee Hagel, and just really appreciate getting all the different insights and everything, man. Best of luck with the remainder of your preparations, and enjoy the rest of your day too, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much.